We do try to get them right, but they're really hard to do. We're the only company that we know of in the world that makes turbochargers for them and tunes our own turbochargers. So that market, I really feel like, has always been kind of left hanging for everybody because the ECM itself is very complex. So it really is. I struggle with it as a calibrator. I really struggle with it just to pay attention to the commands that I give it, especially in this room on the dyno. They are really fucking finicky. And yes, I got a couple of my Great Danes here. They're helping moderate too. All right, so back to the compound kits. We'll release them on February 1st. We have an expected delivery date of the compounds roughly middle, probably towards the end of February. You guys will start seeing them show up after you order them. Those are really complicated, the kit to develop. The ones that are being sold on the market right now are basically HSP kits that somebody's modified. Dan's Diesel, those are HSP kits. The stuff that What's His Fuck offers, those are also just modified HSP kits. So this is a full, new to market, ground up, developed kit. What's up, Drew? You can come on in the camera. Fucking partying over here. But those kits, they feature a full 3.5-inch crossover, a full 4-inch cold cross. They're wastegated. They're wastegated to either atmosphere or wastegated into the downpipe from the atmospheric turbo. And the kits also will feature a wastegate that we weld into the casting of the VGT turbo. For guys that want S400, S300 kits or S400, S400 kits, those will be a little bit behind that. That's going to be a radically different kit than what's already on the market. Those are going to be more of a Turbonator style VGT Valley turbo kit with a big atmospheric turbo over the top of it versus a lot of the stuff that's already on the market. Again, this is not me downplaying what's on the market. I really don't give a fuck about it. It is me saying, if I'm going to develop a performance turbo kit for you guys, I want it to be stainless steel, I want it to be reliable, I want it to be Wiggins clamped together, because I do not want to fucking deal with shit and issues with these compound kits down the road. So they got to be very robust. They got to be oversized and overbuilt for what they are, and they got to be plug and play. We don't want you guys drilling into fucking oil pans and all kinds of other stupid shit to be able to install them. We want the average guy, like Trey over here, they can't see you, Trey, you gotta come over here, but like Trey, who doesn't work on diesels for a living, to be able to install and fucking put this kit on their truck in their driveway without drilling into their fucking oil pan, without having to tap a bunch of bullshit, making a fucking mess in the driveway. That's the idea, not a HSP hacked up kit that requires on-the-spot drilling, because I think that's where, you guys get in there on a Saturday and you want to install it. Our kit's going to be basically 1 page or less of instructions. That's the way I live my life, 1 page or less of instructions, and then install that in 1 day. Big atmospheric turbo, SXE48, T6 exhaust flange. So this is big stuff, but reliable things. So 60% over turbocharger from the Valley turbo. Even when you're running our bigger turbo, we need a big atmospheric turbo to drive, especially the L5P, because of how big the fuel systems are. So anyways, hope that helps out. And hopefully it appeases some of those questions that we keep getting on compound kits. If you got any questions on those, hit us up, info@runvse.com. You will see us do some dyno passes in this room. We have our 2026 on the dyno, which we're going to cover in a bit. But some of that stuff we're going to show you guys live drive, live boost, live intermediate boost, and what the wastegate controllers are actually doing under load, because these are going to be a tow heavy turbo kit. You can install them, you can tow the fuck out of them, and you can drive them and have fun. This is not going to be a kit that you have to cobble shit together. All the pieces are going to be there. So enough on that. 3-liter Duramax part update. So we got some stuff coming for the 3-liter market. We released the world's first LZ0 modified turbo just about a month ago, actually. There's some other shit that's coming from us. You guys have asked for us to make glow plug deletes for them. I know that's a big, big thing. I kind of ignored it for a while because we physically haven't seen a lot of glow plug failures in these trucks. But for our customers that are a little bit south of us, that's also super, super, super hot environments that really, the 3 liters just don't use the glow plugs very often. They run the risk of, can you turn that down like one notch? For the guys that have to run in super hot environments, 3 liters really just aren't a big thing to have glow plugs in. They don't fucking really need it. Um, we we're gonna make a stainless steel glow plug delete that you can just install right into the truck, and you guys don't have to fight and fuck around with them. I know that we're delayed on releasing those kits, but I kind of overlooked the fact that you guys might actually fucking need them. So for our competitors that are hearing what I say, realize I'm just going to make them. If you guys want to make them too or machine them, by all means, but make sure you pick the right material because the cylinder heads on a 3 liter are very specific. So that's all I got on 3 liters. Again, you guys should be getting your stage 3 LZ0 turbos. If you fucking don't already have them in the mail, or you've already ordered them and you're waiting for tuning from us, make sure you submit a ticket because we retune our turbochargers for free. We do our own tuning on them. Other tuners that are out there tuning the 3 liters, there's not very many of them out there. But the ones that are out there, if you guys need help, reach out to us so we can help you tune our turbo for you. We can supply you with boost mapping. We can supply you with VGT mapping. We can supply you with the vane mapping on them so you guys know what you're supposed to be doing when it comes to tuning those 3 liters. Because, like I said, it is a fucking complicated ECM. It really is. And I got a bunch of 3 liter guys that are sitting in here fucking asking questions and stuff. And believe me, I've had my ass kicked in by just calibrating the 3 liter turbochargers. So enough on that. On to the next subject. I think it's item number 3 on the list. Should be I-29 Dragway, Speedway. I got to get through these because I got a fucking cool thing on number 5 I want to cover with you. Um, we historically have sponsored the I-29 Dragway. 2 years ago, we terminated. We just were so fucking busy inside the company that we stopped sponsoring them. We stopped going down there for drag racing. We got so fucking busy with the machining side of this company, with the tuning side of this company, with the time that I have spent developing some new products that will release this quarter, that I needed to take a break from the track and all that fucking around down the drag strip. So I-29 Dragway is actually 30 minutes from here. It's the best 8th mile drag strip in the country. It's got a burnout pit that Burnout Wars comes to all the time. Lacey Blair and the entire Burnout organization comes there. It's where Ice Cream Cruise is at. They got a road course and a roll race drag racing section. So we are going to start sponsoring again the I-29 Dragway, which means we're going to host big fucking events. There's an event schedule here I'm going to go over, but big ass events. So Ice Cream Cruise will be part of that. We're going to sponsor the track as just a primary overarching sponsor. But we're also going to get involved in bringing diesel events to the Midwest again, like they used to be. So Burnout Wars, 8th mile drag racing, something that nobody fucking does, which I think is a little bit ricer, but which is roll racing diesels. We do it all the time in the gas market. Everybody in the gas market does, especially really fucking high horsepower cars, because it's the only way that we can get a very high horsepower, I'm talking big power, car to stick to an unprepped surface for a long time. Um, we'll bring roll racing for diesels to the Midwest at I-29. We have a target date for the first big event in August. We don't know what we'll call it. Maybe we call it VSE 1.0. I don't know. But what I do know is it will be a big motherfucker. And if you guys have been following us for a while, we should be able to bring out 30 or 40,000 people to this event without really struggling too much. We're paired up with Max Diesel. We'll be able to get those guys down there. Josh and those guys, that's who we went to SEMA with. So we'll be able to get them down to I-29 in at the end of August. All the Australian guys, they'll be there for the burnout competition and all those burnout events. But again, I really want to do the 8th mile drag racing stuff. I got a couple people that I'm going to call out later this year that I want them to come up to our drag strip so people can see live how their trucks perform, and we're going to show what's going on. So, anyways, I-29, I'm excited about that. The show schedule, item number 4, I'm going to go over that really quick. I got that right here in front of me. This was posted online earlier. This is a bunch of stuff that we have coming for the public. But the big hitters that we're going to really go to is FP 5.0. I physically can't go, but Austin will be down there. We should have our new trailer sometime shortly after that. Our large stacker trailer, it's a 53-footer. The next one's Ultimate Callout Challenge. Sorry, one before that, Mother Road Mayhem. That's a big event down in Joplin, Missouri. Ultimate Callout Challenge, June 5th to June 7th. That's in Indianapolis. I got 2 significant drag races that we're going to do up there. And I do want, after this, people that don't think that we're going to show up, I would like to make some side money on this. So if you don't think we're going to be there, I want you to bet against us. I want you to bet against that. But UCC, that's June 5th to June 7th. Tailgates and Tall Boys, that's June 18th to June 20th. And then if you go a little bit further down the list, Showdown in the Valley, that's July 31st to August 2nd. That's in North Carolina. That's a big event. Smoky Mountain Truck Fest, we're going to break this up into 2 different ones. That is going to be when Ice Cream Cruise is going on up here. Ice Cream Cruise is the one that we're a primary sponsor in. That's the I-29 Dragway. So we'll have our trucks down there, but we're also going to be paired up with Max Diesel. Max Diesel will have our stuff down at Smoky Mountain Truck Fest in September. If you guys are around the Tennessee area and want to attend some of these events, a lot of them are in that Tennessee, Nashville area, North Carolina, that area. I would highly fucking recommend that you go to these. FP 6.0, that's in Jamestown, Indiana. Oh, that's in Jamestown, Tennessee. That's somewhere at the beginning of October. That's their fall showdown. I think it's like October 9th to 10th, but I'm not really for sure. And then SEMA, which we have 4 trucks we're building for SEMA. So people that want to see what we're bringing, 2 of the trucks you've seen before, 2 of the other trucks you've not ever fucking seen before. And they're going to be bad to the fucking bone. One of them is going to be the one behind us, which is more of the burnout style truck. It's not going to be one of our SEMA trucks. It's going to be technically a 5th truck that we're going to bring, but we're going to enter that in all the burnout competitions. So you guys can see what a brand new truck can do when we beat the absolute fuck out of it during a burnout competition. We don't really know what theme we're going to do. I've been told I can't do the Dukes Hazzard theme, but I think that's what we're doing, according to Trey. But real talk, this truck behind me is going to be no joke. It's going to have a bunch of shit done to it. Built motor, built trans, big fuel system, compound turbos, most likely a turbinator, 2 waste gates to the atmosphere, and then probably a lot of nitrous to keep it spooled, because the diesels really do struggle with keeping the load up on a burnout type environment, keeping the RPMs high, keeping the burnout level high, because if the turbo truck falls off the turbo, they do fucking struggle to get back on the turbo, especially when the motor's really hot. So I fucking love all these comments in here. People are talking about going to I-80 Speedway. Fuck, man. Dude, the amount of comments that... So I-29, if you guys do not know, is just south of Council Bluffs on I-29. Maybe like 20 minutes. We have a huge fucking billboard there. You cannot miss it, but you can't miss the signs off I-29. It is worth giving a look if you guys are in that area, but it is bad fucking ass. It is a very well prepped 8th mile drag strip. Realistically, if you got a turbo diesel and you're throwing down significant fucking power like 1500, 2000, 2500 horsepower, that track will stick. There's never been a problem. I have a C7ZR1, a C7Z06, a really built drag diesel. All of those trucks and cars have no problem sticking to that truck. I also have a 2018 twin turbo Denali. It sticks to that track so well it will actually fucking break every part in it, front and rear drive shaft. So just take a look at I-29 Dragway. Maybe Trey could drop the link in here for I-29 Dragway just so you guys can see it. But again, it's not very far from here. All right, I'm going to cover the Stage 1 and Stage 2 L5P baselines. I want to spend a minute on this with you guys. It's something that no one evidently that's tuning Gen 2 L5Ps is talking about. Nobody goes over this information. Tuning files are just sold and fucking nobody knows what they're getting. So I'm going to fucking talk about it right here. I'm going to be pretty open with it. And then just stay with me here for just a second while I set this up. Grab the phone. All right. This is why I wanted to do it on Facebook Live on my phone. So as I promised you guys a while back, I said that I would have what the truck is doing compared to what the dyno is telling us it's doing. And Scuba's going to supervise all this. It takes a lot to set this up and figure out all the things that are required to give you guys the right data that you might want to see. So this screen is off of our DynoJet. And this is our DynoJet here. This is our 2026 L5P. And if you see, there's a whole bunch of information across the screen. And some of this information people might not have ever seen before because I don't think people populate it very well. And I'm going to go over just a teeny little bit of it. So in the truck, if I pull the dyno screen off here and just go to the load PID, yep, you're going to have to hold that one. Yep. If I just go to the load PID, sorry, we have two cameras and two Great Danes. So here's the load PID and how we actually load the truck. And I'll just go over the screens really quick. We have uncorrected torque. So maybe I should have a really quick conversation on that. Uncorrected torque and uncorrected horsepower. I only use uncorrected horsepower and uncorrected torque when I'm tuning and the conditions are in pretty good shape. If it's really, really, really fucking hot in this room right here, I'll go to a corrected factor. That way I'm not chasing my tail on the ECM to figure out what's going on. And it's a technicality with the difference between showing peak horsepower numbers and me trying to find out what's going on with the ECM. So if it gets really heat soaked in this room and the ECMs give me data that I don't like to see and the dyno's correcting for it, oftentimes I'll switch to a corrected value so I can actually see what the fucking truck was doing. So again, it's technical. Banks, Edge, fucking SEMA, we all do the same thing because it allows us to not chase stuff so much. So anyways, back to the show. All right, on this screen, you can see I have uncorrected torque. I have speed mile per hour. I have uncorrected torque as an LED PID. I have the Diesel Jesus button is for some fucking clown that we deal with, but Diesel Jesus lights up at 1,000 horsepower. Diesel Jesus' EGTs, we monitor those so we can see anything that's going on with the truck. So maybe you know an uncorrected EGT or something, I really want to see what's going on. We watch that pretty closely. We have 10 bar boost wired up. We have exhaust drive pressure wired up. Engine RPM of course. The dyno's connected. Here's the PIDs across here for whether we're sampling or not. And then this is Rogue power for the clown, Rogue. And that's an uncorrected horsepower. And then over here, I have, so this dyno actually has two load cells. There's one, and then there's two. Here's the other one. Which means that I got two eddy current brakes on it. And that's how we monitor how much eddy current brake that we use. So I got to have a way to monitor the temperatures on them so I don't fucking burn them up. And then up above, I have the load control duty cycle, so how much load I'm putting on the truck. So L5Ps, we usually use 40 to 50% load, somewhere in that range. Our Mustang dyno, about 15 to 20% because of how much bigger this dyno is than the dyno jet. So now that I've covered some of that stuff, if I go back to the screen, this truck is a 2026, is brand fucking new. If you see up here, I got a whole bunch of information across this screen. And the baselines that you see here, 420 horsepower, 421 horsepower, 417 horsepower, 421 horsepower, those are the baselines of what this truck did from the factory. You can see that 930 foot-pounds of torque or so. And at the time, we didn't have our drive and boost pressure sensors measured. We just didn't have them hooked up. So let's talk about those for a second, in good faith. So if I go over here, these two wires that come across the floor and go underneath the truck, these are super fucking critical. And these plug in over here to this made in the USA. If you can't see that, this is our boost pressure sensor. This is a 10 bar sensor wired into the Y bridge. And this sensor down here, if you can see it, that little coil is a decay coil to keep it from burning up the exhaust pressure sensor. But this exhaust pressure sensor comes right off of the manifold right there. And that exhaust pressure sensor allows us to know what drive pressure is. And drive pressure is how much pressure it took to drive the turbine, which is that. So that is a very fucking important measurement to know what drive to boost pressure ratio is on your truck. We use it all the time. We use it when we're tuning fucking big power stuff. We use it when we're tuning low power stuff. It's very important when you're tuning VGT turbochargers. So I'm going to close some of the bullshit that's in here and just go to what the truck would have been when it was. So stage 2 means that we removed all the liberal shit from the truck. And we can talk about what that is later. So if I pull the baseline up for the truck in its stage 2 form, which you see on the dyno right now, across the screen, you can see some important measurements. This truck, this is a stage 2 tune on this truck. It made 420 horsepower, 419 horsepower, that's average. 933 to 966 foot-pounds, somewhere in there, average. During all the runs that we've ever made on this truck. And that is basically deleted with a factory power file in it, meaning it's not going to make any more power than what the OEM is. This is a fucking stock file. And as you can see, below we're measuring boost pressure and exhaust drive pressure. And this profile of this squiggly line stuff is exactly the way the factory mapping is on the turbo. It operates just like this. So you can see when it goes up to peak power, which is at 2700 RPM, we're at 29 pounds of boost and already at 44 pounds of drive pressure. So I talk about this because a lot of people want to know how come, I have people that say that, the factory power is 460 to 470 horsepower. That's what all in truck performance says. But it's not that, because I got a bunch of these trucks and that's what they make on both dynos too. You can clearly see that it couldn't be another 40 to 50 horsepower higher because the truck physically is already at a large value for drive to boost pressure ratio. It's at, if you just do the math, it's at 30 pounds of boost and 45 pounds of drive. That's already a pretty big number. And that, again, that's what they are from the factory. So it's just not really possible for these trucks to produce, again, 460 to 470 horsepower from the factory. And these are also uncorrected numbers too. So if I show you guys on the display, because people are so weary about dyno numbers anymore, if you show the conditions, so in this room it was 64 degrees, 28 inches of mercury. It's dry as fuck here, 6.3% humidity just because it's fucking winter in Nebraska. The uncorrected number is 1.0, and there's your drive to boost, and that's your horsepower. So again, it's kind of a shit show when people talk about numbers that are significantly fucking inflated. Now, as I promised you guys, I would tell you what the ECM was doing when it was doing that, and we can also shoot YouTube videos later. So this is a dyno plot, the log plot right from the screen. And this is what the ECM is doing. You can see I'm at 100% throttle, 2,700 RPM roughly, 31,900 pounds of rail pressure, 28 pounds of boost, which is close to what the dyno is recording at the time. We're asking for 42 pounds of absolute pressure boost. The manifold absolute pressure is, again, 42 pounds. The ECM is commanding between 1,600 and 1,700 microseconds of injection. That's at 121 mm3. So fueling rate's basically how much fuel is going into the ECM is being commanded to inject. So it looks at how much fuel rate I'm asking for, what's the rail pressure lookup, and what's the corresponding pulse width. That's kind of how it works. 11 degrees of timing. Everything else is pretty consistent in the truck. We're dynoing in 7th gear. And you can see all these other parameters in here. This is what these trucks do from the fucking factory. There's no magic and no bullshit when it comes to how you can fucking fake a dyno out. And I was just telling Austin the other day, one of my employees, that these dynos, they have a correction factor that you can place on them for humidity and weather and all kinds of other stuff. And the dyno does that automatically. But you can go in there and just put an uncorrected value on the truck, and it's going to spit out exactly what the manufacturer would be. So there's just nothing in there. There's just no way to fucking fake a dyno out. And I think I'm showing that. That's why in this room, guys, I have trucks that come up here, and they will say that, you know, on somebody else's dyno, you know, they made some power number, or maybe they made, you know, maybe they made 1,000 horsepower, and then we put them on the dyno in here, and they make 850 or 830 horsepower. And the fucking problem with that is, one, they never actually collected a dyno number. It was just something that was marketed on the internet. And when I put them on the dyno in here and I can actually measure and look at shit, it does not produce that number. It is not going to record that. GTs at 780 to 1,000 degrees under normal driving. Believe it or not, this truck behind me just loaded down the road. the EGTs on this will just sit at 1,000 degrees and just basic load. And when it goes into regen, it might be 1,200 or 1,300 degrees. But EGTs are typically a byproduct of load, wind shear, how much you're pulling, injection rate, timing. We can make a truck read really low on EGTs or really high, but just realize if we're keeping the fuel rate pretty consistent and then I add a bunch of timing into the motor, EGTs typically go down because more of the temperature is being injected into the top of the piston, which has to be absorbed by the cooling system. And if I under time the motor, most of it goes out the exhaust valve. So that's a big difference. Again, that's a technical thing in tuning. Tuners don't talk about it. I don't know why the fuck they don't. Either they're not tuners or just fucking full of shit. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty open about that stuff. I talk about it all the time. A turbo diesel motor, again, EGTs, if they're really, really warm ground road, 1,000 degrees, realize that these motors have piston designs in them that are designed to reject the heat. They will pull a lot of that temperature out via the oil cooling system, and then the oil cooler removes the temperature from combustion. So if it's 1,000 degrees, if that was 1,000 degrees on a 5.9 Cummins long ago, that's different. But 1,000 degrees on modern trucks with high cylinder pressures, dude, like at the end of the day, real talk, these trucks are designed to deal with high EGTs, high fucking EGTs. So, and then when it comes to full throttle, again, there's another question here. It's good shit. Keep them coming. When people ask what is too high of an EGT, realize that these trucks did not have a back down that started in the ECM until 1,495 degrees. It did not fucking start backing the truck down until high in temperature, which means that General Motors doesn't give a fuck about EGTs until exhaust temperatures are almost 1,500 degrees, because the oil cooling system is removing almost all of that latent and sensible heat of combustion. So they will pull it out through oil cooling and cooling through the cylinder, the regular cooling system. And then the EGTs can be warm to drive the turbocharger, variable speed turbo, a VGT turbo. But the fucking truck itself, pistons are totally fine. Typically, if you hammer down and it's fucking full throttle, our trucks will come right up to 1,400 degrees on a stock fuel system, stock turbo, maybe 1,500 degrees, and they'll level out there. And then the primary side EGT sensor that's on the driver's side of these, or the passenger side of these motors, it'll start to pull EGTs all the way down to keep them under 1,500. Guys that are doing fucking race shit, just flat out racing your shit around, right? Like drag racing, sled pulling. This sounds very unresponsible to say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. We don't care so much about EGTs during a drag race scenario. It's short term, 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds in duration. By the time the pistons get really hot, the event's over. We're really talking about high EGT scenarios when it comes to loaded, fucking long duration pulls. Like, I've got my truck connected to a trailer, and I've been at 1,400 degrees for 30 minutes. That's probably the time we need to let out, or we need to back the fueling down just a little bit. Our tuning will back the fueling down automatically, but maybe there's something else going on. You could have an injector that's got a shitty spray pattern. You could have high crankcase pressure. There's a whole bunch of shit that could cause you to have elevated EGTs. Boost leaks are commonly the thing. So it just fucking depends. Boost leaks, shitty fuel systems. Those are your two main drivers of EGTs. I know this because I've been fucking tuning this for a long time. The 3-liter guys are asking about EGTs in here. Those are good questions. 3-liter diesels, because of the high power that they make per cubic inch, they fucking run about 200 degrees higher than the L5Ps. They're just a hotter running motor. But they can get away with it, right? They have a flow control valve. They cool the oil system, the cylinder head, the block temperature, independent of each other. there's a flow control valve on the driver's side of the motor that controls temperature to keep those things in the right operating band so they don't overheat certain parts of the system. I've talked about this quite a little bit, but it is not uncommon for a 3-liter diesel to be under full throttle and hit 1400 degrees Fahrenheit quick, and then during tuning hit 1500 degrees Fahrenheit quick. Again, the turbocharger is a ball bearing Garrett. It's designed to live. The cooling system on the cylinder head has independent cooling from the block and the oil cooler. So the oil cooler can maintain oil temperatures independent of those other things. And what will happen is the flow control valve will move around, like open, close, shifting flow around. If cylinder head temperatures start going up, it will direct cooling flow into the cylinder head to cool it off at a more rapid rate than the block. Because remember, the block will be the last thing to get hot. The cylinder heads get hot first because the pistons are rejecting all the heat into them, and then we need to cool those off. And then right after that, the oil system's temperature will start going up, and it'll just direct flow around in there. So the 3-liter guys, I just wouldn't really worry about. I've yet to see a 3-liter cylinder fail from high EGTs. Typically, they have a problem with cracking the front cylinder from an oil foaming problem on the early 3-liter diesels, like 2020 trucks. Those were common, but realistically, none of the other ones. She might need to go outside, I'm thinking. Yeah, right around the corner. My fucking Great Danes are needy. I mean, they go to my office every day, but they are needy. So, but yeah, don't worry so much about EGTs on the 3-liters because of how advanced they are, but they are a good fucking motor. So, next subject, new phones. I told you guys last week new phones are coming. We expect by the end of the month them to be rolled out. This might be slightly painful for us because it is a queue-based system we're going to, which means when you call in, you're always going to fucking get somebody on the line. I would say that is probably going to be the biggest fucking advancement in my company so far, just by the fact that you guys, when you call in, you're always going to get a hold of somebody. You may sit on hold for a couple minutes, but you always will know where you're at in the queue. I told the guys I would talk about this because I'm super pumped about rolling it out. But the phone-based system for handling, there's 5 guys on the phone actually all day. We take so many calls, it's time to get a queue-based system. There's a question here about oil coolers. I wanted to cover that. All right. And I'm going to butcher this guy's name, but I think it's Xavier, but I'm not really sure. He's asked a question about a lot of oil coolers taking a shit lately. That's a fair question. Those seem to be specific to the 2024 plus trucks. Those run a different oil cooler than the previous generation, which are not interchangeable easily. I have never personally seen one myself, but an early symptom of an oil cooler failure will be right here. If this starts getting black or any debris inside this, you need to check the oil cooler in the truck. I've physically have not seen one. I've seen a few people that talk about oil cooler failures in L5Ps, but monitor the oil cap, monitor any, because what will happen is the oil system will pressurize this reservoir, and it will fill the coolant reservoir full of a fuckload of oil, and then it'll start boiling out of the top because there's no really controlled expansion rate of oil. Again, I've not seen that, so I really don't have a good way to tell you guys when they're going to fail or if they're going to fail. I've just only seen that on the 2024 Plus platform. I've not seen that anywhere else. So if you guys start seeing a bunch of 2024 Plus oil coolers fail, let me know. I think Josh, that's in the other room, he's always monitoring for the TSBs on the L5P. We don't have a TSB active in our system associated with oil cooler failures on the L5P platform. I've never seen one personally, but again, it's fucking possible that there is a problem. It's possible that they're isolated to like a build date. The only ones I've seen are the 2024s, but really nothing more than that. So, well, you guys see them? Let us know, because I want to know what the fuck's going on with them. I don't know if a part number changed between Gen 1 and Gen 2 L5P, but if there is, then I do want to know. I have a question on in here, and this is from our cast earlier on New Year's resolution. I'm going to cover this quickly. We have had a lot of requests on what you guys want to see. We're meeting our commitment on the things that we are providing to you guys for dyno data, dyno plots, all this other stuff. If there's something that you guys want to see from this company, please fucking let us know. If it's something with marketing, hit us up, marketing@runvse.com. We promised you guys we would do shows. We delivered an entire show schedule, so that's a commitment. We said we would knock our shipping times down. We're already doing that. That's a commitment. I think my target is to be in the under 24-hour shipment time within the next month. But if we can't meet that, then we'll go back to the drawing board on it. We were at like 800 items in the queue about 10 days ago. We're under 400 right now, so those are big fucking things to do. But if there's something that you guys want to see, if it's merchandise from us, new swag, we've started getting teasers out there for some of the swag that we're going to start producing, but new items, new swag, new things that you guys might want to see from us for development, machine products, please hit us up, info@runvse.com. If it's merchandise or swag or marketing materials, hit marketing@runvse.com. But again, we are trying to nail down all the stuff that you guys might want to see from us. That was my New Year's resolution from the company to you guys. I want you guys to tell us if there's anything that we're missing as far as the new shit that we want to bring to the market. So that's all I got. Number 8, we actually got 2 more things to do. Fuck, man, we're about an hour in this motherfucker. Jesus.
Rough start, though, so.
Yeah, I know. Well, number 8, checking your VIN for tuning. I would share this around to everybody. As these trucks get older and as the platforms get older, we get more and more requests for retuning trucks. I want to make sure that, one, we have not already fucking tuned the truck. But more importantly, that if you've had your truck tuned from somebody, we need to be able to check it in our system so we know that it's never been tuned by us, it's never been tuned by any of our dealers, that you're in the clear so you guys aren't buying shit twice. We actually, 10 minutes before I fucking started this live cast, we had a customer call in that has had their truck tuned from somebody else. And the fucking problem is, so the guy was sold tuning, VSE tuning from a dealer. We go to look his VIN up in our system, and lo and behold, it's not fucking there. We've not tuned on EasyLink. We've not tuned on HP Tuners. It's nowhere in our fucking system. So we start looking a little bit more into it. This dealer is not a fucking dealer of ours. He's never fucking sold anything of ours. We don't even fucking know who the guy is. Have no idea. We see this shit all the time. We know who some of these dealers are that are doing this shit. They leverage our name to make a sale. One of them is this fucking retard that you guys probably know who he is. He used our name after we sold to him for months, and then we stopped selling. But at the end of the day, if you guys think for one fucking second that you're buying something from us or one of our dealers, but it's technically not our stuff, you literally need to call the fuck in and find out if they're an authorized fucking dealer. Because before you spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 on your truck, that might cost you $80,000 fucking dollars. It'd be pretty stupid to buy something from somebody when somebody's leveraging our name to sell a product that's not ours. And at the end of the day, we don't tell people to go get their money back. We fucking leave that up to the customer. Our goal is to try to solve the problem with the truck, get it back on the road. But if someone's saying that they are literally selling our stuff, but they are not because your VIN's not in our fucking system, then the next step that needs to happen is we need to know who the fuck it is so we can call them out. The next thing, I'm going to call a few fucking individuals out, but I'm just leaving this as a warning shot to those that are fucking doing it. We're a big enough company that the people that are doing this, I can make one YouTube video and fucking sink them. So this is just a warning shot to those that are using our name to sell a product that is not ours to make a fucking sale. You're leveraging a good company name to sell something just to fucking get money. If I continue to see that shit happening, Trey, this individual right here, and I, in this room, will make a YouTube video. We'll call the companies out. We'll blast it all over fucking Facebook, and I will post them until those fucking companies are no longer in business. I will do the same thing that Brad at Fast Fuel Systems did. And for those that think that they can just continue to do this stupid shit, I will make sure that there are fucking no more people that do that. There are other reputable tuners just like me that have this shit happen to them. Some of them have fucking made public announcements and broadcasts about it. Some of them have not. At the end of the day, I'm very fucking pro First Amendment and very fucking pro Second Amendment. My First Amendment commitment is to call them the fuck out, and I will fucking make sure that they do not exist. So you guys are doing that, I would recommend fucking stopping it. It is getting old, but if you think that we have tuned your truck and there is a question on it, hit us up at info@runvse.com. Give us your VIN. We will check it in our system. It takes us 1 fucking second to look that up for you guys. I would rather look that up than just leave the customer up to try to figure out what to do next. Again, we have some people that are online that ask, we can't get any support from VSE. Well, the reason that you're not getting support is because you did not buy from us. You bought from some piece of shit dealer, right? So give us your VIN. We'll find out if we tune it or not. And then the next step is we will fucking nuke them online so they quit doing this shit to customers. Because it's all fun and games to just sell fucking parts and sell tuning. Tuning is an easy thing to scam people on. Machine parts that takes time for us to develop is not something easy because it takes us a lot of work to do that. Tuning people can fucking run from a garage in Canada or an apartment building and sell shit, and then the public would never know. Diesel Patriots, JHE Innovations, Tune Hubs, Tune Depot, GWN. Do you guys really think that any of them are fucking tuners? Or they have any of this equipment? They're a fucking apartment building and a shell company in Canada. Am I shit talking? No, I'm not. Because shit talking would be me making up something that is not fucking true. This is real data. And you guys are getting your trucks tuned from these fucking people. Sasquatch Diesels, as an example, that use people's fucking name to sell something. At the end of the day, fuck you, Frankie Dixon. But hey, Frankie, look at this fucking beer right here. I don't know, he fucking makes fun of me, fucking beer. I don't know. He's a fag. But at the end of the day, some of these people that keep buying this shit over and over and over and over and over again from non-value added fucking apartment building shell company resellers in Canada, or wherever the fuck they are, operating out of a 2-car garage in fucking Texas, it's really fucking hard for them to figure out what's wrong with their truck when they have never diagnosed anything. They've never touched any of these trucks. So it's just really sad to see. Again, I don't know. And you know, the other problem with it is some of these fucking people also use HP Tuner's hack credits. So they're bypassing HP Tuner software. And I don't have an MVP i3 device here. Yep, I do. So this little device, they didn't even sell you guys. Or if they did sell this to you, it might not have ever even been licensed. So if they have hack software and bypass credits, at the end of the day, when we go to retune this truck, and then we go to resell tuning to you guys to fix the problem, and then you say, hey, you got one of these devices, and then we can't tune your fucking truck because it's not licensed. They're using hacked software, hacked credits, hacked whatever, and those.
From Austin.
Oh, nice. Fucking Max Diesel's on here? Hell yeah, Josh. What's up, man? Dude, we got some shit we're going to do this year. Josh, look at this calendar. That's right.
Tell him it wasn't AI.
Yeah, it wasn't AI either, motherfucker. But anyways, back to this device really quick. If we go to tune this and it's never been fucking licensed to your truck, I can't flash your truck without relicensing the truck. If you have been sold tuning and people are doing that to you guys, the first step is to submit them to HP Tuner's fraud department. That is how a lot of the people that are on the HP Tuners do not sell list, that is how they fucking end up there. They are stealing files. They're bypassing HP Tuner's licensing system. And the only way that we would ever know about that is when we do a retune. So you can always submit a request to HP Tuners to look into it. But at the end of the day, guys, it's your guys' responsibility to look into who the fuck is tuning your truck before just trusting somebody that's living in an apartment building or laying on a fucking piss-stained mattress to just sell you bullshit from a parking garage, right? It's your truck. It's expensive at the end of the day. So, what's this question here about? Something about EasyLink. There's a whole bunch of fucking questions. Which trans profile do you recommend for the 10-speed trucks? I have your tuning via EasyLink. I'm trying to figure out which one to run. All right, that's a good question. Inside those profiles in EasyLink, we do update them quite a bit. If this is a T93 truck, which would be all your 10 speeds, we typically recommend you guys running a medium line pressure, medium shift profile. We also have firm shift and high line pressure profiles. We don't mix a firm shift with a low line file because the trucks don't shift properly. In Austin's truck, every single day, he runs a medium shift, medium line. For guys that have built transmissions in the trucks, especially with no zone, if you have a feed limiter delete TCM transmission, a feed limiter delete valve body, a feed limiter delete's a weird fucking thing. A feed limiter delete basically means that there's orifices inside the valve body that the holes are larger than OEM, which allows more clutch apply pressure to be applied during the gear change. We have to back some of the shift inertia off just ever so slightly. Otherwise, the trucks will feel they shift a little bit too firm, a little bit too quick. But we also have to back off some of the downshift profiles because they'll downshift a little bit too quick. It'll be a little too, it's a little uncomfortable for how quick the gears engage on the downshift. But yeah, if you have a factory file or factory transmission, factory valve body, nothing's changed. First off, use EasyLink and do a a TAPS relearn on the transmission if it ever starts shifting weird, and then run a medium line pressure and a medium shift profile. That's our recommendation. Remember, people always talk on the internet about your transmission shifting and learning and learning and learning. I want to say one thing. The Allison automatics that have those TCMs in there, they never stop learning, guys. That transmission adaptive learning is called TAPS, and that stands for transmission. We should do a YouTube video on this. Just fucking have it permanent.
I got you.
All right, marker down.
Yep.
TAPS stands for Transmission Adaptive Programming Schedule. The adaptive part, this part right here, means that it's always going to be learning. It's never going to stop. When the environmental conditions change, it's going to continue learning. If you drive it really fucking hard, it's going to continue learning. If the truck is connected to a trailer its whole life, it's going to continue learning. For guys that drive their trucks really, 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 really hard, like beating the fucking shit out of it, which we have a lot of customers that just drive them really hard. And then all of a sudden one day you start driving them really easy, or your wife starts driving it, it'll shift pretty firm. The taps is going to constantly back those shift timings. There's basically there's like little trim values in the TCM, and they're kind of, it's like trimming an O2 sensor. It's going to trim some of the aggressive line control out to make the shift constantly shift the way that it should. If there was just static fucking line control on it, meaning that it was like a 4L60E and there was no ability to learn one way or the other, and you were beating the fuck out of one of these trucks, it might not be enough shift control to handle when the truck's turned way up in power or way down. So I don't know if that answers the question or not. Give me a thumbs up if it does. But that's how we yeah, hopefully it does. Yeah, you're running a medium line shift. Okay, yeah. And if you want any more from us, some people want the line control to be a little more firm. Realize that's not shift timing, that's shift inertia. That is us increasing the turbine speed acceleration during the change to make them more firm or less firm. So anyways, I always say this, and people can hate on this if they want. I don't give a fuck. Um, engine tuning is basically a skill. There's really, like, even on these plots behind me, there's really only a few ways to tune an engine, right? You're looking at cylinder pressure, timing, fuel rates, drive pressure, all those things. But on the transmission side, that's more of an art, right? Like, there's mechanical limits that I have to work around, but also I'm tuning around the way that you guys want to have them driven. So some people want them to be in race mode all the time. You want them to fucking shift hard, shift fast. You want them to feel like they're in tow haul. You want high RPM shift points. You want to be very fucking aggressive on the shifts. Some people, you don't want your coffee to be spilled during gear changes. They need to be soft, but yet quick. They need to shift at the right RPM, but smooth. They don't want the coffee and the cup holder to ever be rocked or moved around. Those things we need the feedback on and how you want them so we can revise it. Like the profiles you guys got on EasyLink or in HP Tuners, those are the way that I like the truck to drive, or pretty close to it, right? Medium or firm shifting. But if it's something that you want a little bit different, it's just important for you to just say, hey, I want this truck to like shift hard as fuck. Or I had the transmission built. I'm not doing shit except for drag racing this. We need to give it the fucking nuts, right? So, and I will give you all that I can to beat the next motherfucker next to you in line. But I need to know what you're using the truck for versus I'm buying tuning and let's just flash it in. So, that's all I'll cover on that. Hope that fucking helps. There's a lot of fucking comments in here, and yeah. Yes, there's a good question in here. Tyler, all the L5Ps that have a 10-speed, all these trucks, if they're in the normal mode, they start in second gear. And when you put them in tow haul, they start in first gear. So, the only time that we change that around for you guys is if, one, you ask for it, or two, you guys have big tires, like 40-inch tires. I will change around the shift schedule so a 40-inch tire truck starts in first gear versus second. And I do that all the time. The only time that I don't do that is if you guys really don't want me to do it, but that's a pretty good fucking question. So, yeah. Anyways, is there any other questions in there? All right, item number 9. I don't want to get too spicy on this because I've been going for an hour and I do need to get the fuck off here. Austin's up here, Ryan. Austin's up there. We lock Austin up there during the day so he can fucking work. Because otherwise he'll get distracted. Say hi, Austin. Nope, not looking. Yeah, fuck him. The last thing I'm going to say is the liberals and the liberal fucking behavior. I'm not going to get too spicy on this. I'm not even going to call anybody out. I was going to, but I figured there's so much of a fucking loser I don't even want to waste my time on it. If you guys say a lot of good shit about VSE, you have good experience with us, you like our tuning, you post shit about us everywhere, realize one fucking thing. There is a group out there, it may or may not be the deleted L5P Brotherhood. If you guys post good shit about us in that group, you'll be banned. The admin in there will fucking ban you. And that is liberal fucking behavior right there. I don't fucking tolerate it. The only thing I can do about it is when I get to UCC and those motherfuckers are up there, I'm going to drag their fucking truck all the way across that fucking tarmac, up and down the 8th mile, and then we'll keep fucking going. So realize, if you don't want to be banned from a group, and it happens to be that one, do not fucking say anything good about us, because he will ban you. So that's all I got. I'm getting out of here because I'm going to fucking eat. We'll be back next Friday. All these other questions, one of the moderators that are in here moderating upstairs, fucking just respond to them, but I will answer more as I can. I got a lot of shit to do, but I'm going to be working all day tomorrow because tomorrow we're putting the 69mm turbo on this truck that's sitting on that bench over there. So stand by, guys. It's going to be huge. I'm out.